This is Memphis, Tennessee, March 7th, 2025, in the middle of the afternoon. As far as violent crime goes, well, it's a moderate area, but it's right next to a high crime dangerous area, within walking distance. Just imagine if you and your family happen to be driving by on this busy road over here. When the shooting starts, are you going to be at risk of becoming collateral damage? Yes. Now, in this case, nobody was actually shot. But this is the number one reason that I strive to avoid taking my family to major cities. Collateral damage. Every year across this country, we see gang violence claiming the lives of little ones. No doubt it's unintended when it's a baby, but it doesn't change the hard reality one iota. With training and experience, we can solve violent problems. But what we cannot do is we cannot control where the bullet goes when it leaves the barrel of an unjust criminal aggressor who don't shoot so well, coupled with the fact that he don't care, so he just lets them fly. They go where they go. Hey guys, retired Lieutenant Todd Heaton here with Humilitas First. See this car over here that's going to back in? Oh, maybe it's the guy that didn't give up his shoes. Or maybe these young men have made some other enemies along the way. Either way, it's another bad guy. And he's decided he's going to send some rounds downrange at this crew. Nobody got out of the black car, but none of these guys are looking over there. I guess they got caught slipping. See the dust up on the asphalt? Well, that is not somebody kicking rocks. That is a little projectile hitting the ground at like 1,200 feet per second. I'm not going to point every single one of these out. As I run this, I want you to look at the ground. Bad guys don't shoot so well. Nobody is training them in the fundamentals of marksmanship. The tactics, techniques, and procedures, well, they go back and forth. Criminals learn from the police. Here we see them using the full length of the vehicle. The guy sitting in the car, it looks like he has a two-handed grip, and he's stationary, and he's still hitting the ground. Of course, I understand there are exceptions to every rule. There was the guy out of Sears, California back in 2005. He was trained by the Marine Corps. He was also a gang member. And he did have skills. But the vast majority of bad guys, they don't have great skills. If they could almost reach out and touch you, then yeah, you're going to have a major problem. So Memphis Crime Stoppers were looking to identify 5 young men involved in an attempted robbery that happened before the shooting. The 4 guys that approached the red car, and then there's this 5th guy that starts to go in the store. The Memphis Police Department reported that a group of 5 people, these 5 people, including the small child that some estimated no older than 10 years old, well, they tried to rob a man of his shoes. When he refused to give up his shoes, well, then they tried to fight him. And this all happened inside the discount tobacco store. According to one news report,
the owner of this convenience store says he's seen the kids before. They live in the area and actually come in the store all the time with guns. It's why he put up this sign saying, "No guns allowed."
That's funny. So the young men that don't have a problem illegally carrying guns, illegally using guns, they're going to respect the sign. Well, clearly that did not work. So what is a gang? How do we define a gang? Well, it depends upon who's doing the defining. The feds are going to have a definition. Your state legislature is going to have something to do with defining the criteria for what makes a gang member. They're going to lay out some limitations as it relates to police officers being able to enter gang members into their statewide computerized telecommunications systems. These are designed to share information with other law enforcement agencies in that state. In Illinois, we're talking about LEADS, Law Enforcement Agency's data system. They're going to have requirements, different ways of validating that this person is actually a gang member. Then there's the small units that are usually made up of about 6 members, 5 or 6 members and a supervisor. Those small specialized units, they're going to do things like intelligence gathering, monitoring, And they're going to make cases against the worst offenders in their community. Primarily, we're talking about gang members and shooters. They're going to catch them rolling dirty. Gang unit team members, well, they're going to see things a lot earlier. They're going to see little Johnny hanging out with this, that, or the other gang. They may not have enough yet to validate little Johnny, but it's coming. Now, I was blessed in my career very early on to get the opportunity to be a part of one of these small specialized units that gets to be proactive. From 1992 to 1994, the unit I was in was called Neighborhood Team Policing, or NTP for short. These units have certainly evolved over the years, and the names have changed. NTP was the precursor to GEM, Gang Enforcement Mobile Unit, at my old house. Later, the name was changed again to Street Crimes Unit, SCU. The reason that this was such a blessing was because I was so young in law enforcement, so this was part of my early formation. Formation is critical. St. Thomas Aquinas once said, "An error in the beginning is an error indeed." If you don't get formation right, then those errors tend to compound over time. Got to get it right in the beginning. Or you got to go back and reform whatever's been malformed. I'm a simple man. I like simple things. So I like Merriam-Webster's definition of a gang. Here it is. Group, such as a group of persons working to unlawful or antisocial ends. Like brandishing a firearm to rob someone of their shoes. Those would be unlawful ends. Especially a band of antisocial adolescents. Well, that simple definition certainly is going to fit this little group. Growing up in law enforcement, we did not have all the opportunities that you have today to see what's actually possible as it relates to moving to shoot or shooting while moving. There's no shortage of people who still have trouble shooting accurately on a flat range when there's plenty of time. Yet, when you study the game film, well, you see that real life, it don't look so much like your local range that has that long list of safety rules. When you start moving to shoot, and especially shooting while moving, you're going to see accuracy deteriorate. Until you figure out grip and vision, even shooting faster is going to cause your accuracy to deteriorate. If you'd like to learn how to most efficiently move to shoot and shoot while moving, then check out Jake Labhart and his team at inextremisperformance.com, or you can check them out on Instagram. But understand this, you still have to do the work. The knowledge is useless unless you apply it by doing the work. This is Matt Pranka of X-Ray Alpha LLC. Currently, he's a USPSA Grandmaster level shooter and a firearms instructor. He was a member of the most elite special forces unit on the planet. He takes off at a sprint, but then he throttles back a little bit so that he can be accountable on the target. Watch little Johnny here. He's going to full on sprint, and he's going to continue to send rounds down range while sprinting. Who here thinks little Johnny gives a fat rat's rump about the accountability of every shot that he's firing? He don't. If you, the innocent passerby, happens to catch a stray round, well, that's your problem. That's not Johnny's. Take note how this young man, he is moving forward and then to his left as his firearm discharges. Look at the height of his sights. Look how much higher his sights are than his dominant eye. That is not going to be conducive to shooting with accuracy or accountability. Like his buddy, he doesn't give a fat rat's rump about accountability. Here's another angle. Now I want you to think about just how far away his intended target is. His gun is literally discharging at this moment, and he's not even looking. He's turned his face away. Accountability? What's that mean? Let's keep an eye on this guy. I think he's got some more for us. Oh, this is going to be good. He's going to get a running start. Okay, let's see that from another angle. Here he is on the far right of the screen, preparing that running start. Oh, he's about to get air. Now, I watched this multiple times, and I don't think that he actually let any loose while he was in flight. But had he done that, I was so gonna name this the dunk shot. Maybe get a clip of Michael Jordan. If you can shoot accurately at a target that's stationary while you're standing still, you gotta realize once you begin to move, even slowly, you gotta do the work to get better. If you want to shoot fast and accurate while you're moving, well, that's gonna take a lot of work. Do I worry about gangs adopting the advice that I'm giving you? No. Well, why not? Gang members, they live a life of vice, which means they're way more into a hedonistic lifestyle than one of self-discipline and accountability. You people of goodwill, well, you have a far higher probability of actually applying the self-discipline, which is exactly what it's going to take for you to actually get better. Knowing and doing are radically different things. Regardless of where we look on this planet, gangs are a major problem that destroy communities. They're criminal enterprises. The question is, when are our leaders going to properly begin addressing the gangs in our own little communities, rather than seeking to just deny that they have any gang problems? They like to call them groups. Indeed, groups. You know, for unlawful ends. Those are called gangs.